Alright, so we're back in the world of Where Winds Meet, and today guys we're going to be going over some of the news that happened in the past week or so and talk a little bit about what some of the future content holds for us. And I know a lot of you asked me recently what to expect for some of the content, and we're going to be going through it. This is the perfect time since we're waiting for the next breakthrough anyway. So as always guys, if you are enjoying the content, make sure you are subscribed for more Where Winds Meet content I'm going to be covering in depth. Be sure you're following and subscribing so you don't miss out on all the updates coming. And with that, let's dive into the news. So first things first, recently the developers released a blog post that goes over some of the future updates, and while we are not going to go in depth on this, I am going to highlight some of the most important aspects. So the developers opened up by thanking players for jumping into the game and acknowledging that the global launch came with excitement, uncertainty, and plenty of feedback. They stressed that they've been listening closely since day one and are actively addressing the rough edges, asking players for patience as they continue to improve the game. They then moved on to concrete updates. Networking problems were some of the major focuses. The routing issue affecting Europe, the Middle East, and other regions have been fixed, and high latency in multiplayer modes have been resolved, though I have been seeing still a little bit of it, but it has gotten a lot better. Solo mode latency is planned to be fixed by the mid-December update, and on the presentation side, they've updated translations, improving dubbing and subtitles, and polished several story quests. They've also reworked the beginning tutorials, expanded customization, and made puzzles a little bit more clear. Now, the team did emphasize that this is the only first wave of optimizations, and there's still a ton of fixes incoming, so be prepared for it. Then they shifted to the ongoing and future improvements. Localization will continue to be a major focus, and they're planning on community creation events to help refine translations. For PS5, they're working on better frame rates and stability in visuals, and with improvements expected within the year. And multi-character class creation is actually in the works as well, though they do have some platform restrictions that they need to get over. This is something that is available in CN, so I imagine it won't take too much longer. I don't know why anyone would make another character. Maybe you want to do legend mode, but they are still working on it, so we should see it in the future. Looking forward, the next 2 months will include the Steam Deck compatibility, better time zone display, split outfit customization so we can mix match in a little bit, PS5 Pro PSSR support, not sure what that is, and then audio upgrades with more quality of life changes for the game. Overall, just a ton of good things. They said they're reaffirming the commitment to building a better game, and they're gonna be thanking the players for sticking around with them. Obviously there's a ton of people playing, and I'm impressed by the game. These are all great updates that we should be seeing, and I'm super happy to see that they're working through the problems, and hopefully in the next 2 months everyone can be jumping in. I know Phone is supposed to be getting the game in mid-December or something. Now, next we are going to jump into some of the future updates that we should be expecting, because there is a lot of content. I know a lot of players have been asking me forever, yo, what should I expect? New weapons, new bosses, regions, things like that. We're gonna jump into that, but quickly check this out. Well guys, it's about that time. Black Friday is among us, and with every Black Friday there's some awesome deals and games to talk about. That's why I teamed up today with our friends over at Instant Gaming. Right now there's over 100 games that are at their lowest price ever, with new deals unlocking every single day. Some highlights to include is Arc Raiders on Steam for 35% off, Pokemon Legends on Switch off for 40%, and Football Manager 2025 for 40% off, and many others. On top of those deals, Instant Gaming is doing something really cool this year. Every hour, one lucky customer get their entire shopping cart refunded for free. When you check out, you'll see a banner in your cart letting you know you've entered, and winners are selected automatically by the system every hour. They're even posting a daily summary at 8 PM announcing the winners in the Discord. Really awesome of them. This event runs November 28th through December the 1st, so if any of these games catch your eyes, check out the link in the description and pinned comment to grab the deals and maybe get lucky with a free cart. So next, let's actually go over some of the updates, content coming, things like that in the future. Keep in mind the CN server has at least a year on us in terms of content that we should expect in the future, so there is a lot. Some of the timelines may be a little bit muddled depending on when they're implementing things like that, but we're gonna go over the general scope of things, and I will have CN footage, so it won't be translated to English, unfortunately. Links in the description to all the creators that I use in this video, so go check them out. Anyway, let's go over it. So at the very beginning, Kaifeng isn't fully open yet. We probably saw this where a region that we can't explore yet in the top left there. Obviously, that's going to be something that's going to be coming up soon. We should expect to see that in the next coming weeks. I would be surprised not within the 2 weeks that we'll actually see that region opened up. And we're also going to expect to see I don't want to say it's going to be every month, but this is kind of how China was getting. They were getting like regular monthly updates. So maybe we find a similar schedule. First is going to be Kaifeng in the Roaring Sands region. This is update 1.1 in China. And this opened up the desert region and completed the map of Kaifeng. It also continued the main story, adding unique bosses and boss encounters. One of the highlights is the Dragon King and the River God duel, a fight where you're facing off against two bosses at the same time. One attacks with water cannons that you can deflect, and the other uses a huge sword that relentlessly charges at you. Another boss in this update is also the Black God of Wealth, which is designed around players' greed. If you collect too much loot on the ground, you'll actually get stun locked, and this can set you up to get destroyed if you're too greedy, which I will definitely fall for this many times. Alongside these, there are going to be 3 world bosses that they're adding: the Nameless General, the Coffin Keeper Lord, and the Drunk Striker. In our current version of Global, you can actually go to those regions on the map and actually see the like arenas, but you can't actually fight them. They're going to spawn in future updates. Now beyond that, we're maybe like a couple months later, we're going to get the Hexi corridor update. This adds a completely new desert region. This is going to be completely different from the Roaring Sands region, but obviously it's going to be a little bit more desert themed. There are going to be environmental hazards like sandstorms. You're going to be able to explore ruins, and there's going to even be puzzles that do like a Prince of Persia time manipulation thing, which is going to be cool. And there's going to be more traversal tools, and there's something like the golden sand ribbon that lets you like glide across the dunes for faster mobility, which is also going to be pretty awesome. Now there is going to be weapons that's coming with this region. Again, I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same, but there are some weapons that's supposed to be coming. There's going to be the umbrella that get the bamboo cut variant, which is focusing on teleportation and throwing the umbrella in an AoE, dealing AoE damage, while we're going to get a secondary rope dart that seems, in my opinion, more of the combat rope dart. This is going to have longer range sweeps. It's going to do some type of drain mechanic that drains the powers of enemies and power up your attack. So those are 2 weapons that we should expect to see. And then there's going to be bosses, including the Iron-Blooded Prince. This is a acrobatic spear and lightning fighter that does a ton of damage. He's supposed to be like a region boss, or he's like a core boss in the game. So should be someone that's going to be challenging. And in addition to that, we're going to get a massive floating longboat or lost boat or something like that shoots giant projectiles. That's going to be like huge in scale. Obviously, this is going to be a pretty awesome fight. Looking forward to that. And then for their region, I believe they got this frost biome in May. I think it was called Leang Jo or something like that. Sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing things, but this added a snow themed system. It had like a environmental hazards, of course, and then a boss that people are calling the Frost Lady, which gives obviously a completely different feel of exploration and combat, since you're going to be fighting in the snow. Vastly different from the desert and the like more temperate locations that we have right now. Now in July, which was like 2 months later, a month and a half later, they got the Tank Blade, which is a katana style weapon that does perfect deflect combos and multi-slash attacks. And then there was a broad blade variant that does a DPS, which is like a DPS focus rather, and it gives after images, aerial spins, and AoE bursts. The Tank Blade is precise and fast, with the broadsword let you maximize damage in stylish high impact way. That at least that's what players have told me. Now the CN updates didn't stop there, and as far as we know, we have the 2.0 and the 2.2 update, which add the Nameless Mountain, and this is a expanded vertical map with new story chapters. Then there's 2 martial art style which are being introduced, which is the Gauntlets. This is a fist-based style with eagle theme follow-ups. I think Rexcellent recently did a video on this. I'll probably be using his footage in the background. Go check him out. And this is like the flying attacks, kind of remind me of like Street Fighter kind of thing. And then we have the rope dart martial art style, which does like slashes, dashes, and even group enemies attack up into like AoE. So this could be a really good like mobbing weapon, which should be cool. And according to this is supposed to have the eagle power mechanic, which is going to give a kinetic theme like combat style, and the energy is supposed to be like a high energy feel. Not sure what that means, but looking forward to it. All in all, that's what I know of so far in terms of content updates. I'm given a very generalization or a general summary of what it is, but there are a ton of small updates that's coming with that, like professions and things like that. So just keep that in mind. There are going to be a lot more things than what I mentioned here, but that's the general idea. My recommendation for a lot of players right now is to complete Kaifeng, get all your like skills, get all your weapons, get all that rounded out, and then keep progressing your gear, because obviously once these areas open up, I'm sure most of you want to jump in, because we're going to be dropping guides and information on those, and I'm super excited to try the new region. With that said, that's pretty much all the information that we have so far on the updates. Generally speaking, everything looks pretty fun. I think we're going to have content for many years. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about you know, everything I said in this video, the free updates, everything coming, the new weapons, what weapons you're most excited for, what you actually like to see in the game be added. I really would like to see co-op be a little bit better and maybe a little bit of PvP balance. Let me know down in the comments what you think. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and following so that you don't miss out on the coverage for Where Winds Meet. And just like that, young masters, I'll see you in the next one very soon.